Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's me, Busy Bee. Today we got something a little going on today. It's a follow-up on the previous video. This would be probably, we'll call this part 2 of the video of the Peterbilt of the radiator on the truck. Now, as you can see back here, I got a little bit of a mess, but come on, follow me here guys, and I'll explain what was going on with the radiator on the P. Okay, so here is the back side of the, it was like the front side of the Peterbilt, and my lady will not come forth when I tell her to come forth, but now she's getting it. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So basically what's going on here is I had to remove a few things off the old radiator. Now I have 4 brackets up. I got one here, here, I had one here and here, okay? Now the brackets were for the air conditioning condensers, what it was for, okay? Now that's one of the things you had to remove on the old unit, okay? Now I'll show you what was going on with the old radiator. We'll try to flip her up here a little bit. Now I know EPA is going to get on my ass because it dribbled in my driveway, but I really don't care. So this fell in the dirt. My son flipped it over the other day. Whoop-de-doo. So right here was a bracket as well. We'll show you in a few minutes of what was there. I had to remove the fan shroud as well on the front of the radiator with all that. So you got 2 brackets to keep it stabilized on the radiator so it won't sit there and flop back and forth while it's going down the road. And then you have your 2 bolts that you have to loosen on the bottom of the radiator. Okay? So considering there's a new sheriff in town, Busy Bee has got the truck ready to rock for DOT. We are DOT worthy in my conditions is what I'm trying to do for weeks. So follow me guys. We're going to come on over here. I'm going to show you what went on with the P a little bit. And what's going on. I had a few people ask, how's the generator doing? Well, I'll show you how the generator's doing. As we know, this is the Ford generator I bought off of Amazon back in December. So far, I had a guy from Georgia, I think it's Georgia Trucker or something like that. Sorry if I cut your name up, I apologize. But he was asking, how's it working out with the generator on the back of the catwalk? Well, what I done for safety's sake, so I wouldn't have any issues, I actually took the catwalk and moved it forward. Okay, and that's what I did with this generator. And then I slid my 5th wheel all the way back. Okay, this is what I did. Slid all the way to the rear. I haul mostly light loads with UPS. So I don't have to worry about any heavy loads with UPS. I keep the 5th wheel at the back side of the truck, and it clears when I turn the truck. So we don't have to worry about it. Now I've been asked a couple times, how's the generator running? I don't know. You tell me. Let's see what she does, right? She's been sitting for 3 weeks. There you go. I haven't started that in about 3 or 4 weeks, and you see how fast that thing fired up. Granted, it took a few tries. She's been sitting. What do you expect for something that's been sitting for a few weeks, not doing anything? It might be a little bit low on gas. I don't know. But that's how well this is doing. And is it keeping my cab cool? Yes, it's keeping my cab cool. When I used it the past couple times, I don't know how it's going to do. Today it's about 80 degrees, so I won't know until I actually try it out with the air conditioner that I've got. So this is the video that I've done previously. It was like cheap APU under $1,000. Well, this is how I got started. I did something like this. And there's your question to that. Now, on with the rest of the truck. I got the rear ends fixed. This front axle needed some bearings. They were shot. It was just a bad bearing. It was sitting there slowly eating away on the carrier bearing and all that in there. I can't really give you much in depth, but I know that the front part of this needed some repair. It's just it was a 2-year-old part, and I think it was bad from the get-go. But I got a really good deal. We'll find out here in a few weeks. I will do a update on this part. I will tell you where I got it done and who did it. They're out of Terre Haute, Indiana, and I'll put more information when I do that video on how well it's working, who did it, and so on and so forth. They did a great job. It was reasonable. Most shops you would pay probably about $5 to have it all tore apart, redone, put back together. I paid way less than that. I paid $1,700 to have new bearings put in it and have it checked. That is awesome. They charge $100 an hour for rear end work, and I can't complain on that. But I will give you the people as soon as I know how well their work is, because I don't want to give out somebody's name and make myself look bad, you know, for my fans and my YouTubers. And he said he would do a video with us one day when he's not busy. So maybe about 4th of July I might get with him, see if he has some time, and then we'll talk about what he did with the Peterbilt. I probably won't have the Pete in the video on that day. So that might be an upcoming video later on in the next month or so. So I try to bring you guys content. As my shirt says, sorry I'm late. I didn't want to come. So that's what's going on. I've been late. I've been so swamped with the Pete. And this is what's going on. I got that done while I've been home. Now let's go on with what you guys want to know. Why did I rip the radiator out? Well, I explained in my previous video that I had a leak. So let me get the hood open. Okay, so basically what I did is underneath the sleeper, if my camera lady will take a view and gander at what happened underneath here, and she could shine down underneath here real good with the blue hoses that's underneath there, all the way back to the bunk. I replaced 2 of the heater hoses back there because they were so dry rotted. I believe they're probably almost 20 years old. I really don't know. But they were pretty well rotten. They were flaking, and they just looked like they were bad. So I said, well, while I got this radiator out, it is in today. We got it all in, and it was hard work with a bunch of guys, especially my son and I. He's 14 years old. He busted his butt with me. And I had family come down. They helped me lift the old one out, and then they came back a week later, helped me lift the new one in. And I got this radiator for $1,300 right here. This big unit, this big black part right here, for those who don't know what a radiator is, this is your radiator on the rig, okay? So basically, I had to take the old one out, put the new one in. And what you do is you take your hoses loose. You got one fitting up here, you got another hose up here, and another one. Take all 3 hoses loose. Then you got hoses underneath. I took all those loose. And when I put all this back together, guys, I actually took the extra time. I got a new elbow underneath here. And I'll grab the camera from the camera lady to give you more depth detail. So I put a new elbow down here. There's one I couldn't get because it was just too pricey. I put all new hoses underneath here, as you could kind of see a little. See? And I put it with the silicone ones. So I got some more up here. All right. And there you go, guys. That's what I've done with that as well. And she could touch the screen to focus back on me if she needs to do so. But I got my lovely wife behind the camera. And is it good? Okay. So I got my lovely wife doing the filming today. I'm home. And also the other thing, there was one of those near fixes I ran into on a couple things. Up front here, if she could kind of view in, if it's possible, there was brackets here that were bent from where the truck had rear-ended a tanker about 3 or 4 years ago. And I straightened them back out, so those are good now. I had to heat them up a little bit, bend them back where they needed to be. The air-to-air was fairly new, so I'm good with that. And then I had the brackets that are up here. I had to take the bolts loose on the radiator, tighten them back up good and snug. And then you have 2 big bolts underneath. You need a buddy to do this, or if you have a way, take the hood off and the bumper off to reach up in there and get a crescent wrench in there of some sort to fit up in there and and grab your impound, because they're going to seize on, they're going to probably be seized on. They got lock nuts on there, and just bust them loose is what you got to do. So I had my nephew on the top half inside the hood, and then he took 2 bolts to help me get the 2 bolts loose. We busted them loose with the 3/4 impact that I bought from Harbor Freight. That thing, the earthquake, is phenomenal, and I will probably do a future video on that here soon. I'm putting it to the test. I put it through a lot of hard work this past weekend, and then I went out and bought a second small impact, like a 1/2 inch. See, I bought a smaller one for like my smaller sockets and stuff, and that thing helped me get this done even quicker and bust some of the stuff I couldn't get with my hands. I deal with carpal tunnel a lot, so I just like, well, I'm going to get something where I can work with it. But this is what I done on this side, you know, and then I'll show you on the other side a little bit what has went on from there. So, of course, you got to take the air-to-air system off, along with the AC condenser is what you got to take off. So you take your condenser off first, you take your air-to-air off second, and of course, when you're doing this, you're going to have to take your hood loose, okay? So you got to get your straps, your springs, and all that, take that loose, and then set your hood on something underneath and set it down so you can get in and out from the hood, and you don't have all this in your way, because you're going to have these off in order to get the radiator out. And then you take your, of course, you're going to take your hoses and all that for your air-to-air off. Do it in whatever order you feel frisky. And then once you get the radiator knocked loose and you're able to pull it out, of course, you got to drain it, of course, and all that stuff. And, you know, I mean, there's plenty of tutorials of guys taking radiators out of trucks. I'm just giving you just a simple way to just put it, you know, drain it, pull everything off of it that you see bolted to it, yank it out, put the new one in. As simple as that. It's just like doing a car. It's just you got 2 more things. You got to take your air-to-air off, and you, of course, you got your AC condenser. With this, I was able to unbolt it, pull it up top, and set it on top of the motor, up and out of the way, and then I was good to go. So that's what happened there. And it's doing good. It's nice and cool. The old one had a lot of corrosion inside of it, and I noticed a design difference on this one versus, well, let's see. I noticed a difference from the old one versus the new one. They actually improved the newer one, okay? And the newer one was way better than the old one on the design, because when I actually took the time and I looked up here on this neck right here on the radiator, and they made a improvement on the design, and I'll show you real quick what the design was. If you look up here, see how that's held up there on that neck? Now on the other one, it had a bracket that went down to the radiator, and it sat there and rubbed for years, and it put a pinhole in it. So that was my leak there. And then on the other radiator I had, there's all these gaskets were dry rotted, as I said in a previous video. That was the main problem I had with this, is just it was so old. I think the radiator was probably the original on the truck, but I really don't know, because I only drove the truck for probably about 3-4 years before I left. And then 5 years later, I went back, and then the guy still had it, and I decided I'm going to buy it. You know, and he thought I was joking, but John, I fixed one of your problems. So as after I got the truck, it was doing it a little bit, and of course we had antifreeze leaking out of the overflow as well, and it was pushing air through it. And I explained in a previous video, that's how you know how you got a bad head gasket. We didn't even know that. So yesterday, here's something that scared the crap out of me, and it's always double or triple check when you're doing before you go do it. I started up with anything, and I almost caught the truck on fire. Yes, I almost caught the truck on fire. So as you can see here, this is one of those absorbent pads that you put to absorb like antifreeze, oil, whatever it is. I have a few of these laying around my garage because I had them in my side box when I was doing tanker, and I held on to them. But I had one of this, and it was stuck in between the turbo and the exhaust. Me and my boy were supposed to check everything out real good. It looked like there was nothing there. I go down the road the turbo's spooling up. She got hot, and as you can see, she dribbled a little bit of plastic and stuff on the oil cooler and all that for the turbo and stuff. And that was a scary moment for me. I said, man, I put all this money in this rig, and I'm about to, I said, it's smoking. I smell something burning. I stopped right away, and, well, no, I didn't stop. I didn't really smell it till I got stopped, and I saw smoke coming out from the hood. I'm like, what's going on? So I stopped, opened the hood, seen the smoke, went over, and I saw a big, I call it a diaper, you know, and it was laying on my my turbo behind it on the intake or the exhaust, you know, header. So I was like, holy crap. So I was trying to yank all that off. I got it off, got home, and it was still burning. I was like, what the heck? I thought I got it off. I opened the hood again, got looking again, and I noticed there was just a little piece way up here, you know, and it was booming. My lousy neighbors down the road, gotta love them. Yep, I said it. So, but that's what's going on. That's all taken care of. So we are now road ready. There's a new sheriff in town. We're gonna make this truck roll, and let's just say a little prayer for me, guys, because this has been a struggle for 2 years of the making of trying to get this truck straightened out. I've had a leak on this thing ever since I've had it. We couldn't figure out what was going on. We found out it was a head gasket blown on, cracked on the truck, and then got that all taken care of. We rebuilt the motor. You can watch previous videos of this truck if you want. And if you want more videos like this, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe for more. I'm almost to my 500 subscribers that I'm trying to get since December. So if you see this video, please subscribe to my channel. I'm a goofy, crazy guy, and I drive this Pete all the time. And I did a previous video on the Mustang. I decided I'm going to replace all the calipers on the Mustang because she's been sitting for so long. I don't want to run any more issues. But that'll be another video, probably about July. We're going to have probably the Mustang up and going, and I'll be glad when we can do that. And then I'm just so thrilled that the Pete's taken care of. The major issues that I've had was the radiator and the rear end. I was so freaked out for months that I was going to be stranded somewhere, but all in all, it's all taken care of. And like I say, all things are possible. I made this possible. Me and my kid, along with my brother and my nephew, we got this knocked out on the radiator. And the main person to help me out was my son, you know. And thanks, son. I appreciate your help. He's 14. He came out here. He thought it was going to be a big project. But when he got done, he put his arm around. He goes, you know what, Dad? I thought this was going to be difficult, but it ain't all that hard. The only hardest part was getting it out and putting it back in because it weighs about 150 pounds. So if you're a muscle guy, knock yourself out. Me, I just got puny little arms anymore, and I'm not no He-Man anymore, but my wife says I'm awesome. So anyway, y'all have a great and wonderful day. God bless you, and be safe out there. And remember, always do your inspections and check your truck out periodically and check your vehicles out periodically. Heck, sometimes I get the car out and make sure everything's working on the car before I take off. There's so many people I see anymore that isn't being safe out here. And it's all about being safe and looking out for the other guy, you know, and yourself. Everybody's got a family out here. So, you know, like this radiator, I could have been broke down on the side of the road. And I did prevention. This was a big prevention to keep this thing from popping and then messing my motor up. And then I got bigger issues. So if you see a leak or anything or hear something funky, fix it ASAP. Don't play around, because if you fix it right away, that's less time sitting in a shop and more time on the road. That's how you got to look at it, guys. And I'm hoping that we have no more issues with the old Peter car, and that we keep rocking. So all things are possible. You have a great, wonderful day. God bless. Thank you for watching. And remember to like and subscribe this video and give it a big thumbs up for old Busy Bee. And let's keep on trucking. Later. Peace.